They must have cleaned the coffee machine with goat piss again.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of How to Speedrun Hitman Blood Money. We return to the best level ever, Flatline. Before I go over the strats, you first need to understand how Flatline operates. This is the first level that introduces optional targets. However, since this is Pro SA, it's part of the rules to complete all objectives, which, in this case, are to kill the 3 targets and smuggle Agent Smith out. Smith being taken out of the medical wing starts a 2-minute timer before he's able to be revived, so the idea is to get Smith first, then take out the 3 targets and head to the morgue during that time frame. Essentially what I'm getting at is, despite this being a 4-minute level, the only real time save is the first 30 seconds, which is just a game of how fast can you get to Smith. Since once you get to Smith, the rest of Flatline is an autoscroller. With all that said, this will be the first level I'll go over, where I'll provide different approaches depending on your skill level: beginner, intermediate, and expert. For beginners, the only thing you'll need to bring is the silver baller, which hopefully still has its suppressor attached. In order to get to Smith, we need to get through 4 locked doors, 2 of which cannot be shot open. What you're going to do is run up this hill, throw a mine, and immediately detonate it. The explosion will cause the orderly in the medical wing to run outside, opening the locked doors for us right as we get there. Just one problem though, this is still a restricted area, and explosions do not have the same distraction effect as guns do. So, just wait here until you count 3 orderly exit, and as soon as the 3rd one is outside, run into the left. There is one complication, and that's the green shirt man, who will run in one of 3 directions, one of which is the way that we're trying to go, and that can ruin the strat. Some people like to shoot up here to spook him, but I just like to run against him until he stops. Just keep an eye out for him in case he goes this way. Once you're inside, this door would have closed by now, so just shoot it open. Next, you'll find this ledge where you can shimmy across, but if you go at the right angle, you'll fall right down. It's a very easy trick. Smith is in the 3rd door down, so shoot it open, put the silver baller away, and initiate the cutscene. Just be careful of this patient, because he can be a witness. For intermediate players, bring the silver baller and an SMG. This time, instead of detonating the mine immediately, wait until you're at the top of the hill. Once you're at these stairs and the cop has gone by, crouch and fire an SMG. What this does is panic the nearby orderly with a gunshot, so now you will be free to go into the restricted area without them telling you off. This saves about 6 seconds over the beginner strat. For expert players, you'll only need the SMG. This time, detonate the mine immediately, then just run straight into the medical wing. The orderly will chase you, so this next part will be super tricky. The idea is to fall and shoot open Smith's door as soon as possible with the SMG. To prevent a witness, what I like to do is go into first person, close this door behind me, and as I'm falling, strafe right and take out the SMG, then fire as soon as you hit the ground. You have to shoot open the door within the first couple of shots, because otherwise you will risk hostile orderly, regardless of if they're a witness or not. One tip I have is that the hitbox for opening the door is actually lower than the doorknob itself, so aim there. Doing this correctly saves about 2 or 3 seconds over the intermediate strat. The next part is everyone's favorite thing in speedruns: unskippable cutscenes! There is no trick here, trust me, I looked. Just sedate Smith and let the cutscenes play. I actually kinda like the cutscenes for full runs because they give about 70 seconds of a breather. After the second cutscene, we have to leave the medical wing to trigger the Smith autoscroller. The quickest way to do this is to go up the stairs to this balcony and vault over. At this point, I recommend you use Statman to activate save states on Professional, just so you can practice taking out the targets without having to sit through all of the cutscenes again. For this next part, beginner and intermediate players will do the same thing. Go back to this locked door and go to the right. The only difference is intermediate players should crouch beforehand, because occasionally there can be a buggy orderly who could spot you all the way back in this bush. Next is another keycard door. Fortunately, the policeman will see you and tell you to get lost. The idea here is to force him through the door, knock him out to prop it open, then take his disguise. There's a little trick with picking up an item or a disguise where if you have something in your hand, you're forced to put it away. During this animation, you could still move, so try to move away from the body. This is just to ensure that your suit is far enough away from the policeman's gun, so you won't waste time accidentally picking it up. Normally, we don't get disguises at all because it takes time to put on, then having to come back and get your suit, but it doesn't lose us any time. Next, beginner players will go out and straight forward into this hot tub room. Making sure to close the door behind you, walk behind Rudy. The proximity should trigger him to get up to say his line. Once he does so, push him into the pool. Run out and head to the gym and roleplay as Carmine's spotter. Carmine is on a global timer. He will always set his weights down at about 244 on Statman for about 10 seconds. As soon as he does this, drop the weights on him. After that, go up these stairs. Lorenzo has bodyguards outside of his room that won't let you in. So, just go into the adjacent room, then enter his room through the balcony. Lorenzo himself doesn't mind you being there, so you have time. You can just shoot him, but just to be safe, I just like to fiber wire him. To get the quick animation on him, wait until he picks up the spoon. Very important that spoon is. For intermediate players, you're basically gonna do the same things, just a different order. After getting the police disguise, go to Lorenzo's room first and rig the propane tank. After that, do Carmine second, followed by Rudy. By the time you get your suit back, Lorenzo will have blown up. Get your suit, then head out the same way that you came, all the way back down to the morgue. For expert players, it's a bit different but still the same process. We can't do the police strat because there would be an additional bodyguard coming this way. So what we'll do instead is climb up this pipe onto the roof. You can get witnesses if you're spotted on the roof, but not by innocents. Next, this area is restricted, but if you do the SMG strat, these two will bug out for some reason, so most of the time you can just stroll past them. That being said, it's still good practice to just go around the lady and close Lorenzo's door behind you. After rigging Lorenzo's propane, we're gonna go across the facility to this corner room, which has a convenient disguise for us. Again, I like to take out the fiber wire or a coin for the disguise trick to bring my suit just a bit closer to the door. After this, get Rudy, then Carmine, then go back and get your suit. Do not head out the front door. You will be shot at. Instead, head out through this balcony on the left. The policeman here would also normally shoot you, but due to Lorenzo's explosion, he shouldn't be outside anymore. Be careful though, there is a camera here that can spot you, so be sure to head to the right a bit. Finally, the strat for the morgue is the same for everyone. You can check the map to see how close Smith is to the end. The doors will only be unlocked once he reaches his final position. Before entering, equip a coin. You can't open or close doors while throwing, so the strat here is to open the door, wiggle in, and as soon as you close it behind you, hold up the coin and immediately throw it down. We don't want this orderly seeing us revive Smith, so while he's in his coin mode, run around him to the right. I find that this is the best way to prevent him from turning while not losing any time. From there, just revive Smith and head to the exit. For beginners, this should be around a 408 to a 410. For intermediate, this is around a 402 to 404. An expert is about a 4 flat, and at the most, a 359. And that, everyone, is Flatline. Not really much else to go over. There is a way to get into the morgue early, but TLDR, it's just not worth it. I'll have a pinned comment explaining it in depth, but other than that, I'll catch you guys next time with the all-time goated level across every Hitman game ever made, A New Life.